After this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, a lot of people are saying that Kenya Moore has been vindicated. However, some other fans have dug up some old footage where Kenya Moore talks about her own pow 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 in reference to some beef that she's had with Phaedra.
I'm over it.
Okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, someone talking about something in a confessional jokingly versus what we saw with Brit Eady, who seemed really like she was ready to fight. Like she really was ready. If she had something in her hand, she would use it. But the comparison that people are trying to do right now with that scene versus what we saw on this week's episode feels far, like a far reach. However, let's say that it wasn't. Let's say that Kenya did the same thing that Brit Eady did a couple of seasons ago. Regardless, that doesn't change the fact that what Brit Eady did was wrong. It still doesn't change the fact what Kenya Moore does on next week's episode as wrong. We have to remember that this is a work environment. And I know for a lot of the Bravo fans, this sort of shady back and forth and like, oh, you can't talk about how someone can respond. Yes, you can. You are in a work environment. So if you break the code of conduct, and yes, Bravo has always had a code of conduct. They recently updated their code of conduct and policies and procedures because of the Bethany Frankel reality TV reckoning. So we've got to stop this sort of like, war amongst the fans in regards to what's going on between Brit Eady and Kenya Moore. Brit Eady should have been reprimanded. There should have been an investigation. We will never know about this investigation unless someone leaks it to the blogs. We won't know about the investigation because they're supposed to be confidential. I don't know if there was an investigation with Brit Eady. I do hear that there was an investigation when Kenya did what she does. We will see in this week's episode. But the whole comparison of what Kenya said in that scene versus what we saw with Brit Eady definitely feels like a reach. But even if it wasn't, even if it was very similar, regardless, back then, Kenya should have been reprimanded and had consequences. If it happens today, tomorrow, the person should have repercussions and consequences for their actions. Period.